Hi, my name is Nicole Silva-Carreira. I'm an undergrad student for the School of Social Work, and this is my firsthand experiences of the relationship between redirectional therapy and academic success at my practicum site, Adult Friends for You. So, an overview of Adult Friends for Youth. They're a nonprofit organization that was founded in 1986. They target high-risk youth that are part of either gangs, violence, they're runaways, or they're going towards academic failure. They do group sessions or individual sessions, which they use the redirectional therapy approach. Their goals are to prevent any forms of violence and advocate for academic success and safety within the community and families. Redirectional therapy is the method they use for counseling. It was inspired by Carl Rogers' person-centered method. It is a non-directive method that allows the client to decide every step and every decision throughout their counseling. Redirectional therapy is a non-directive and non-judgmental approach that advocates for the youth's success. Adult Friends for Youth works with middle schoolers and high schoolers. They work with schools on the west side and in Honolulu. They do group sessions and individual sessions either during school or after school. They also have their MAC program, which is an outreach program that stands for Mobile Assessment Center. Usually, Adult Friends for Youth will receive citations from the police department, and then a redirectional therapist will either do a home visit or make a phone call to the parent or guardian of the youth regarding if they would like their youth to participate at Adult Friends for Youth and in the group sessions or individual sessions. Some responsibilities I had were facilitating group sessions. I would create activities that went along with the lessons that the redirectional therapist wanted to go over with the youth. I would also input data. This data were surveys that were received from the youth, and I would also input cases. These cases came from the citations from the runaways. I would either close the cases as successful or unsuccessful, or I would make a case active. I also created material needed for the curriculum. I created activities and the materials needed for each lesson. The training and my relationships with the staff members at AFY. So the training I did, I went over PowerPoints that deeply explained the programs that AFY has and their Pearl Convention that is done every year during the spring. It involves different schools on Oahu and schools in Kauai. They talk about how to prevent bullying in schools. I also went over the book they have at AFY. It talks about redirectional therapy and how they developed it. And it also talks about their morals, their philosophies and values and missions. They also went over some stories of some of the adults that were once part of Adult Friends for Youth when they were youths. My relationship with staff members and school staff have been very professionally oriented. They have taught me to become a better social worker, an individual, and a student. They have given me feedback and advice on how to do group sessions and how I can be the best social worker. So some strengths at AFY were mediation skills, academic success, and repairing family or community relationships. Some weaknesses I observed at AFY were not educating on drugs, alcohol, and nicotine. Today we're seeing a lot of fentanyl overdoses or other drug overdoses. We're seeing accidents happen because of alcohol, and we're seeing a lot of people's healths being impacted because of youth. The lessons I learned at Adult Friends for Youth, so how to facilitate group sessions. I was able to use my meso skills and have guidance from my supervisors on how to facilitate a successful group session. I was able to provide activities for the youth that correlates to their goals. I was able to go more into detail with the activities and help the youth reach their goals. I was also able to understand the importance of data and how important it is for grants, and I was able to increase my knowledge on my meso skills. I was able to practice my open-ended questions, how to facilitate a successful group session, and I was able to practice my networking skills by communicating with other redirectional therapists and by communicating with the counselors at the schools. I was also able to use my intervention model throughout my months at Adult Friends for Youth. During my time at Adult Friends for Youth, I focused on academic success. I started back in January, and from January to now, I've been observing the academic success of the youths that I worked with in group sessions. At the start of the year in January, a lot of the youths were actually failing their courses. A lot of them were being talked to about potentially doing summer school or retaking the year the following year. The redirectional therapists were always informed by the school counselors. The school counselors were always very communicative towards the redirectional therapists since the counselors wanted the best for the youth. The redirectional therapists were always transparent with the youth about what happens if they don't pass the classes or what happens if they don't improve in their GPA. They talked to them about summer school, potentially redoing the whole school year, or potentially even doing a different type of school, which was a different program for students that needed more time to learn the materials. The redirectional therapist also would talk to the youth about skipping first period and fourth period since those were the periods that were most skipped by the youth. They talked about how tardies and absence were going to affect them at the end of the school year, and how again they would have to do summer school to redo the material that they missed because of those absence and tardies. Because of all the information that the youth would receive, a lot of them would started showing up to school for first period and would stay at school all the way till their last period. A lot of them ended up improving their grades. They all went from failing to passing and having A's and B's now, and their GPAs have improved significantly since the start of the year. And these are my references. Thank you so much.